Go. Go.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, trophy hunters of all ages. This is the 8th episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast. Woo! I'm
Almost
your
to
host
10.
tonight, CJ, a.k.a. the Solo Gamer, a.k.a. the Trophy Hunter. Tonight, I'm joined by the noob naked man himself, Big D, a.k.a. the Naked Gamer.
Love it. There's my chest hair.
Ooh, getting frisky tonight.
Ooh.
Tonight, we're also joined by the hot taken, Twitter beef making, gamer extraordinaire, Woodsy, a.k.a. the Mav.
Worst video
For all
ever.
you audio listeners out there, Woodsy just put his face really close to the camera and gave him a little sup.
It's true. He's calling from 1995 if you want to check us out on YouTube.
Just a little special shout out. We're recording tonight on September 8th. If you want to look out for any specifically steaming hot takes from Woodsy, Cleveland steaming takes, check out his Twitter feed for today.
Not to be confused with the Cleveland Steams today.
We thank you, the wonderful listener in advance, for bringing your ears to our own unique takes on all things in the video game podcast sphere, all while recording our shows and publishing them edit-free. We bring you the podcast via all listening staples as always, mostly Tuesdays. This will be Wednesday. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, Anchor. And for whatever reason you don't want to listen to us and you want to see our ugly mugs and see a little sup that Woodsy did, you can check us out on our YouTube channel via the Raw Cuts Gaming channel. So,
You got it.
boys, this week we've got a lot to cover. So let's get right into the news. Actually, let's get into what we've been playing. Sorry. Big D, what you been playing, man?
Oh, I took a little bit of a break over the long weekend, so I had the whole family home. But over the last week, we've been playing Rocket League, Fortnite, Fall Guys, and Modern Warfare is what I had on my list. So got a couple dubs in Fortnite since we all kind of gotten the band back together. So that's been a lot of fun. Even had I don't think this week we won 2 in a row, and I don't know that I've ever done that. I'm trying to think, but I don't think I have. And that was pretty sweet.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I remember, so Mav here logged off, and then we had our 5th guy join back in.
Hold
and
on,
then we
hold
won
on.
the one immediately
Not
following
logged off, retired as champion.
that. That's true. Yes, we won, and you left.
Good show.
And then the other guy stepped
show.
in, and then we won again.
We had Dustin step in, and I feel like it had a much easier time that second round. I don't know what it was, but we just were just going down people.
But yeah, that's what I got. Woodsy?
What?
I've been playing a crap load of Gran Turismo still. Turn up my sport mode skills, and I gotta say, I think D, I know you and I were yakking about that. It's just like I can never quite get the W in that game. Hell, it's even hard to get on the podium in that game. And obviously, part of that is your qualifying times and everything like that before the races. And I can't ever just get mine to where they need to be, so I'm in like the top 5 of qualifying, which sucks. And I don't know, maybe it is just the fact that it is that much of a deficit to play that game without a racing wheel setup. Because I'm sure you can be much more precise with all that sort of thing. So the other thing about that game, though, that's really irking me, and I know a lot of people complain about it, though, is like the penalty system. Because, in principle, it's a good idea for online races, but in practice, it gets employed really jankily sometimes. And I think in part that's because of the natural lag that is occurring. And I'm probably logging on to whatever server in North America, but unfortunately, you get a lot of folks up in there, and there's nothing against the wonderful people of the continent of South America, but a lot of folks come up. I always see cats from Brazil and Argentina and Uruguay, sometimes from Paraguay and Chile. In my race grids, and their ping is always a little bit more than mine, or really anybody from the States or North America. And I feel like they definitely have a little bit of lag in those races. And when, bumping into each other is a huge no-no and all that other stuff, that I think that just that slight glitchiness really has some bad ramifications. No pun intended there, I guess. But yeah, other than that, I want to apologize to our millions and millions of fans out there, because I did hop on Resident Evil 7 in VR a few nights ago.
Quick shit your pants and then log back off.
Right. Yeah. Well, I thought I had hit the record and cast button to send it all out, and I didn't. And realized that about 15 minutes in. Still couldn't find out where the fuck I had to go, and so I just said, you know what? Nah. Too many keys that require me to find pieces of art. Not down for that. We played PUBG last week.
Oh, yeah.
I think we talked about that.
I forgot.
This month's free game.
Yeah, this month's free game on PlayStation Plus. And logged in, and I have to say, you hear about toxic gaming environments and everything like that, but every time I've logged in with, random folks, and granted, because it was a PS Plus game, I'm sure there's a lot of really, really new folks up in there, but I have to say, I met some really nice people playing that game, or just, those who had mics were, real, trying to show you the ropes, and because obviously it benefits them when you're not their worst player, by default, because you're new and don't know what the fuck you're doing.
And I forgot to mention the best part of that game is we discovered that you can take off all your clothes and you can just wear army gear with underwear on, tighty whities, and just army boots. And I must say, that's really lacking in Fortnite and these other, and even Modern Warfare. Where is this option? We must have laughed about that for a good hour. My favorite part was, and I'm even sober now. So this is still hilarious. Ryan, our buddy, we all at one point all had the same getup in the tighty whities and army boots. And Ryan gets on the motorcycle, but just sitting in the backseat of the motorcycle, just waiting for me. And it's still hilarious, just sitting there in his underwear. And then I got on. And just two dudes in their tighty whities running around with guns on a motorcycle. It was highly entertaining. Don't let this motherfucker fool you. It was very entertaining for him, because him and Ryan were trying to run my naked ass down with that fucking motorbike. And I believe
call it like I say, you motherfuckers.
I believe we did. I'm pretty sure you died.
But yeah. So that game is real interesting, I have to say. I mean, it's kind of cool because it's the first Battle Royale, and I actually like it as an idea more, because it's not quite as arcadey in the gameplay style and systems as, say, a Call of Duty, and it provides much more of a realism factor that does obviously Fortnite and Apex Legends, etc. So it's kind of cool, because I feel like there's a lot of strategy in that game, insofar as a gameplay style that I like more. However, damn, is it janky as fuck.
Yeah,
and I don't know if that's because it's
from 1995. Yeah.
Shit, man. I'm not going to judge a game based solely upon its looks, obviously. But even the gameplay was just kind of janky.
Jittery.
To be fair, the game looks like it's an early PS3 game right now on PlayStation 4. It's not a good looking game. So I guess have at that what you will. I don't know. I just felt like there was a lot of jank there that I wasn't a big fan of. But the gunplay was okay. I felt like it was hitchy a little bit. But overall, I had a good time playing it. I'm not sure how much I will play it by myself or we will play it as a collective going forward. But it was good to give it a try, see what all the buzz at least was about. And I can totally see, though, like, prior to Fortnite, that game being the fucking shit.
Yeah,
and even when
new
Fortnite
idea.
was going on, that game still being the fucking
Right.
shit. Fortnite
Right.
and PUBG are like worlds apart in so far as like gameplay styles and obviously aesthetics. So, interesting to try it. So that was kind of cool. Let's see what else. As we had previously mentioned, we did play some Fortnite. I also stepped back into Gran Turismo one night with a buddy Ryan, and we played for a good couple hours of Gran Turismo. I think it was after one of the Bucks losses, and goddamn, getting verklempt. We spent some time at the casino smoking our virtual cigarettes and wasting our virtual money in our depression, so that was kind of nice. And then we went outside and just killed each other for, I think, a good 45 minutes until we decided that was enough.
Oh, you mean you jumped back into Grand Theft Auto?
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah. That's what I said, didn't I?
You said Gran
what I
Turismo.
say? Well, I did do that. But I was
Gran
Grand Theft
Turismo.
Auto, so
I thought maybe.
yeah. That was kind of cool to hop back in that game. Just kind of, that's a good game to dick around with. I really wish we could like get our shit together and do missions. We really should do the missions on that fucking game.
We should. We haven't done the newer heists yet.
Right. Well, I didn't even complete some of the old ones because we never had a fourth. We couldn't get a fourth, but now we definitely have 4. So we should definitely fucking knock those out sometime. But yeah, man. Other than that, Siege, I got nothing else. How about you?
So I was back on my Fortnite bullshit again this week, man. I'm deep down the rabbit hole in this game.
No.
This game has thoroughly got its hooks in me, man. I've been playing this game by myself and squadding up. I've been just every night I just hop on there and play more Fortnite, man. The amount of shit Fortnite gets for being Fortnite, some of it being deserved, but they put a lot of care into that game, man. Like I bought the battle pass.
What shit are you referring to specifically?
Just you say Fortnite and everyone just scoffs and go, "Oh, it's Fortnite. It's it's this kid's game."
Just because it's
bullshit.
Like the popular ubiquitous shit.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting up there now, so the kiddies are probably playing something else.
Yeah, but just like I bought the battle pass, so I started paying attention to the various tasks and things they had you do, and it's really scratching that kind of itch I've had for trophy hunting. And like one of the things was go to Thor and find Mjolnir, and you go to like the big indent that happens from whatever one of the Thor movies where the Mjolnir is stuck into the ground, or you go She-Hulk to her law office. They built her law office. It just kind of remodeled one of the houses in the map, but just kind of stuff like that. You go rescue Baby Groot, from the Holly Hedges, just his little baby self hiding in some of the trees and shit. And I'm like, man, they really put a lot of freaking care into this game, man. So I've been having a lot of fun with that, just leveling up, just getting victory royales left and right, squadding up like with D and Woodsy, getting victory royales. It's just been a lot of fun, man. So right now I just unlocked Groot, Groot, the big Groot, and got my first victory royale with Groot. So I feel pretty good about that. So I've been.
Did you hide in the bushes or behind a tree?
No,
that would be really strategic.
I hide till like the last 5 people.
He is Groot.
Just go out.
You realize that he is Groot.
But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with Fortnite, and then I also hopped back into Hitman 2. I bought the DLC. I kind of forgot that I bought the DLC, and I kind of circle around it every week here, I feel like. But I'm playing the levels I haven't played yet. So I went to New York City. That's one of the new levels. It's in a bank.
Yep.
So you have to kill a woman, one of the bank, owner or whatever, and you have to steal this data core. So figuring out how to do that. And then there's, ultra high security because it's a bank, but they still have this stupid stuff like you can do, like you can go get a disguise and be one of the guys she's firing. So you get alone time in the office with her, and then you can just literally kick her out of her bank window. Or you can set her up and you can, play a record and then slam her face onto a statue. Or you can lure her out of her office and strangle her. It's just like hundreds of things you can do in that game. Is just so much fun. So I've been having a lot of fun getting back into Fortnite too. As always, one of my favorite games. So I'd highly recommend you guys, hop into that and check that out.
Hitman.
Hitman 2, yep. Sorry.
Yep.
Fortnite's on the mind. Sorry.
Good God.
I know.
Falling apart.
We are. So that being said, that's all I've been playing this week. So let's get into the news. So we bumped recording by a night because our schedules didn't quite line up. And boy, oh boy, did we ever pick a good night to punt on, because overnight, Xbox had their shit leaked.
What?
And the Series S
It was like at 12:08 Pacific Standard Time, AM.
Just the most like middle of the night. You know, can you imagine being the social media guy? You know, he posted the image of the puppet, like the monkey puppet with like looking sideways and then looking forwards, like, holy shit, this is really happening. So the Xbox Series S has been revealed and then also confirmed by Xbox. Pricing set for $299. The specs are also revealed. So it's a 512 custom hard drive, 1080 streaming, diskless version, small, the smallest Xbox ever. Some other rumors that came out but that are not confirmed is another November 10th release date. And the Series X.
I thought that they did confirm that release date. I thought that was official. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I believe that as we go forward here.
Yep.
But they were so nuts on with the Series S, and then the other news was the Series X coming out at $499. So, what are you guys' thoughts on this Series S? D, what do you think about the announcement overnight?
Well, the one that we didn't hit on here that I think is the most relevant is the financing option. Did we confirm that includes the Game Pass?
I was not able to totally figure that out, but from what they've done, I guess it's the same thing that they did with the Xbox One, which included Xbox Live Gold or whatever, right? Yeah. So I'm assuming because they're rolling that into one package, it will in fact include that. But it's not 30. I forget what the terms are of that financing, but it's over so many years. Mm-hmm. So it definitely comes out to like more.
Oh, of course it does.
Right.
What are the financing rates for the listeners out there who don't know?
35 for X and a month and 25 for S.
Right.
Which is
but they didn't announce the how many months that would be.
Right.
I believe, unless you could go and dig and look that up. But one thing we should also say though, real quick off the bat, is the Series X. That price point wasn't actually officially confirmed by Microsoft, nor was it its release date.
What's the price point on Game Pass by itself?
$15, I think.
$15 a month for Game Pass Ultimate. So
with $20
xCloud.
Yeah.
So that's probably a.
Does that include xCloud
term then? It might be.
It doesn't right now, but
it's Game Pass.
It doesn't right now, but they announced that xCloud is going to be bundled in with Game Pass at no additional cost.
Yeah, but so my thoughts were, once you start taking that into account, I'm assuming they kept referring to it as all access. So that's what has made me curious on the Game Pass. I'm pretty confident it's going to include it, and then you're going to end up with a 2-year term just by looking at the number,
right,
and doing some quick math that checks out. And then they get you locked in on Game Pass and shit for 2 years, so that all works out for them. But my thought is, you can clearly see, and I've kind of hit on it before, that's the direction this shit's going. We hit on Microsoft trying to get out of the hardware game for the most part, and then making it more of a PC or Steam box type thing, where they can outsource it and just kind of do something cheap. But it's not hard to envision a world where for X amount of money, and it doesn't matter, in 30, 40, whatever, it's just an ongoing forever subscription that includes Game Pass, and every X number of years, call it 3 or 4, you get shipped a new box if this is the experience you want. And you don't really have a choice. If you want to keep playing, you plug in the new box and you send the old one back. And then it's kind of what Woods, you and I kind of talked about that long-term service model before, where you kind of get out of the PC mode, because a lot of people aren't looking for that. Like, I know how to do PC shit. I still console game because I don't want to dick with drivers. I don't want to upgrade a graphics card. I don't want to tune all my settings for every single game I play. It's a pain in the ass. But you can see where people would want that easier experience, but kind of delivered from a PC. And I think that's where we're going. It's going to be a permanent subscription model.
So, yeah, I agree with you there. I was just trying to work out, how much they're getting out of you, and let's see. So they're 24-month terms. So it weirdly actually seems that you might be paying slightly less than you would if you were to buy all that individually.
I thought they rumored that they were doing that. The financing is basically a free financing or very low interest rate financing for you. So
I mean that's a pretty darn good deal. Granted, I mean the yearly subscriptions to the online services, be it be PS Plus or Games Pass, there's always sales on that shit. So if you're more of a coupon frugal person like I am, I always buy my shit on sale, especially that sort of stuff. So I don't know. It's a good deal, though. I definitely can't deny that.
What do you guys think about the Series S? So the Series S is that smaller box. It has the big microphone in there, like you're ordering from a Wendy's or something.
It's ugly as shit. Let's just be honest. But I
love all the memes that are coming out with it, the Minions and the drive-throughs, and
I still don't totally understand who that console is for. And one of my big, I don't know, I guess they with Xbox they plan on having what do they call their forward scaling, or they're scaling to the system that you're using it on.
Smart delivery.
Smart delivery, thank you. But, I guess I have questions about, okay, is smart delivery going to work for all games for Xbox S? And if yes, then great. But if not, then are the third-party games produced for the system, or more AA games produced for the system, and by the developers that don't have the money to invest in developing a compatible version for the S, is that going to hold not only the Xbox Series X back, but the entire generation from a graphical or game pushing standpoint? I don't know. It'll be interesting to see, I guess, because
if they're just stretching stuff or whatever to
right. Well, all these third-party games ultimately have to, of the three major platforms, not including Nintendo's because they're clearly doing their own thing, but of PC, PlayStation, and Xbox, you have to cater somewhat to the lowest common denominator, because otherwise you won't be able to get your stuff on there and get the sales. And who knows? I mean, that thing just may bomb and not even be available for sale in 2 years, which wouldn't shock me. But I think in a year as trying as this year has been and will continue to be for a lot of families economically, at least that system, especially combined with the financing options, offers that more affordable option for those families.
And that might be their plan too when
and
we come out with the mid-gen bump. Then everything just slides down. So then the mid-gen bump becomes 500, and then the current X that's coming out is going to move down to 300. And that might be their plan, to just keep sliding everything down.
Right.
Well, I think the Series S they're really targeting either people's second console, whether they're expecting people to buy a PlayStation 5 and, hey, buy this, and then get into Game Pass and get subscribed in, or some of these families who can't afford that. I don't care about the financing thing, but who don't want to finance necessarily, don't even know that it's an option,
Right.
and would rather buy it at $300, which I think the price point is very attractive. For $300, that's much more easy to bite off than getting an Xbox at $500.
Well, it's an all digital console, but I guess my big question about it is I'm going to get my PlayStation 5, but then I might consider getting an Xbox in 2 years, maybe 3 years, because they're going to come out with their whatever mid-gen upgrade. And I might wait till that if I get an Xbox. Or I just may not get an Xbox at all, and something like the Series S doesn't necessarily appeal to me 2 years down the road from now, because I theorize that internet speeds are going to get better, and therefore they're going to start putting xCloud onto like a Roku or whatever the fuck, right? So me having this intermediary box will almost be irrelevant at a certain point, hopefully within the next 5 years. So it's just kind of interesting to see what that SKU will be, what is the longevity for that, and does it get respec mid-gen like the more beefier one to like another mid-level upgrade or whatever the fuck. I don't know. It's just odd.
So I think we're all kind of in agreement there. So what do you guys think Sony's going to do to respond? Now, I know D or Woodsy, what announcement did PlayStation 5 have today?
Oh, well, if you love gold, you could go ahead. I love gold. You go ahead and order your gold PlayStation 5. Get your pre-order PlayStation 5 if you got about $10,000 US. So you get all gold, 24 karat gold PlayStation 5 bundle, which I believe includes the controller and the headset. You can start doing that on Thursday, so that's pretty dope.
Is that the kind of shitty gold that rubs off in your hands like the old gold Chrome controllers?
I don't know. I definitely chunk my teeth into it to make sure it's not chocolate underneath. But for the plebes out there, I think they got a platinum version you could also get, and a rose gold version you could also get that are both cheaper.
What about the fool's gold version?
Oh wait, no, the rose gold is still is the same price. Oh, and the platinum one's more expensive. So if you really want to be a baller, go platinum.
Can't wait to see some athletes with that shit.
Yeah, that one's like going to be 10,500 from the looks of it.
Did they announce
11,000?
So not that any one of us or anyone listening is going to buy the gold one, but did they announce, is that a disc version or a discless, or did they announce both?
They have both. So
okay, so this is what's interesting. So
$100 difference.
Exactly right.
100. I should say, to be correct, £100 difference.
£100 difference. But I think this announcement, I think that's the most interesting tidbit right there, is that there's $100 or £100 difference, which will probably end up being $100 difference also. So does that give us any tip as to what pricing may look like for the PlayStation 5D? What are your thoughts on that?
I was actually kind of shocked that with everyone buzzing about it today, that they didn't just come out and be like, yeah, no, we're going to be at $250 and $450. So like that. That's kind of what I expected, like at 8 o'clock tonight. And it did not happen. So I don't know, man. They keep just laying low. Like I feel like either they're incredibly dumb or they're going to come out with like what we were discussing earlier, like an all finance model where it's like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll send you the box for free. Just sign up for the PlayStation streaming game service. And it's just like a genius move. But like we talked about before, man, you just get that feeling that they just don't know what the fuck's going on right now.
Right. I think but I also think that I think people have had these unfair expectations of PlayStation insofar as you know, Microsoft's been very kind of just like trickling with a lot of their information. PlayStation has as well to some extent, but like PlayStation has never moved before they wanted to move, and they haven't been reactionary in any of this. So I wouldn't expect them to be now. I think they have a date where they're going to do another online presser, and they'll announce it then, and they have that date set, and they know what the price is going to be, or they knew what it was going to be. If Xbox went here, this is where we're going to go. They've known that shit, and they still know that shit. So, I am surprised though at that $100 difference, specifically because I don't think that's going to translate at all to like the normal versions of the consoles. I don't think you'll see the regular.
Don't think so, really?
No. And the reason being is how could they justify a $100 difference specifically for like HD Blu-ray drive? Like those things are mass manufactured. They could probably get those things for maybe $100, or I'm sorry, maybe $30 a unit, if that. So especially in the bulk that they're buying them. So I just don't see them being able to justify charging people who want the disc version $100 more. So
really, what kind of pricing breakdown do you think? $50, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, because it's the same console. You're getting the exact same performance. You know, it's not a dumbed down version of the PlayStation 5. So I think there's a good shot that it'll be $500 and $450.
Really, I'm thinking that they're going to come in at. I'm a little worried. I still think that they're going to come in high and hot and heavy and come in at maybe even $550 and $450. I don't think they go to $600 just because of what happened.
What if they came in at $400 and $450?
Well, I think that's an option too. I still think there's going to be $100 price difference, and
do you think it's going to be higher than $500?
Yeah, I was surprised that the Xbox came in at $500. I thought the Xbox was going to come in at $600. To be honest with you, and when they came out with that $499 number, I think that I don't think it's going to move what PlayStation is going to price their console at. I also don't think they want to put it at $600. I'm thinking $499 and $399, $100 difference between the two of them.
So I find the debate too interesting about like, PlayStation would never go lower than $500, and here's why I think they might. So if you dropped it $50, which is the only price point they would drop it, I'm sure. So to go to $449 for the disc drive version, you're looking at taking a $50 hit for every console sold, obviously. But so say you sell within the first year, say you sell 10 million units. Okay, well, that's $500 million hit that you're taking as a business. But you're also taking a rake of 30% of everything bought on the PlayStation Store. And as we have learned and seen with trends, is digital sales are only going to continue. And one thing that we haven't talked about on this podcast, but I know we talked about previously on my old podcast and just amongst ourselves, was PlayStation stopped allowing third-party vendors to sell digital codes of any kind. So the only place that you are getting fucking anything for the PlayStation, if you buy an all-digital PlayStation or just prefer to buy your shit digitally now on PlayStation, which a lot of people are doing, only place you can get that now is fucking PlayStation. So they're going to take a 30% rake on everything. And that's going to, say the console lasts for another 8 years or 7 years, whatever the fuck it may, this console generation again, like 7 years, 8 years, whatever. You're talking billions of dollars there. Billions of dollars, especially when we get out to this lead, in which, if you curry favor and continue to keep up your first party games to be really good and so on and so forth, and, you're going to get a whole lot of people, I think, right off the bat by just taking that $50 haircut up front. You take a $50 haircut up front, and it's going to more than pay off for itself on the back end.
Oh, yeah. Not even close.
So I think there's an argument to be made where maybe, I don't think they will, but I think it wouldn't be a bad business decision for them, especially in the long run, to just say, fuck it, we're going to come out at $450, beat us. Good luck.
450 and 4 is what you're going with?
450 and 4. Why not? That's my Hail Mary.
Okay, so you're going 450 and 4. I'm going. I'll stamp down. I'll go 5 and 4 for mine. D, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm with Woods. I think they go for the jugular.
I like it, man. All right. So PlayStation had their slight bit of news, not much news, as we kind of discussed amongst ourselves. Xbox had their shit leaked. Nintendo had some rumors coming out about a new Switch model coming out next year. It rumored to possibly be at 4K. I don't know if they'll hit that number, but be more powerful. Is that any interest to you guys?
What do you mean stream at 4K? Sorry.
Or I'm sorry, not stream, but have 4K graphics.
Right, okay.
Yeah, play at 4K.
Like mounted or
mounted. Yeah. Because right now I think it's at like 720 or something. Would that cause either of you two to buy back into Nintendo at all? I know neither of you are Switch owners, but is that any interest of you?
Well, the display is one thing, but I ain't buying Nintendo games for like their graphical fidelity. So does 4K even matter? Like, unless I'm going to buy my third-party games on Switch, which I'm not. So I don't think like an enhanced resolution or even resolution output is going to be enough to pull me in. I would just go get the OG. But if it was more powerful, and I don't know. I'm only going to buy the Switch for Nintendo games, I think. If I buy a Switch, I'm only going to buy it for the Nintendo properties. Because everything else, I'm just going to play on my PlayStation, if it's third party especially. So, I guess no, it doesn't interest me.
Yeah, would you buy?
I'd really only be interested for my littles, so...
Yeah, unless they did something really cool with it that I can't even contemplate now. A new, more powerful one doesn't necessarily interest me. No.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of my Switch lately. I've also been getting the kids, or my daughter, on the Switch more specifically. I think a Switch is a good entry point for her. A lot of their Mario games can appeal to the nostalgia in a lot of people our age, but also is a good entry point for kids. And they have the waggle controls and the Joy-Cons if they want to do it that route, or they have the controller route if you want to get them going that way. So I'm glad that I have my Switch as kind of an entry point for her, kind of like you mentioned, Dee, with the kids. But I'm not going to be upgrading my Switch when a new one comes out. I don't need it to be any more powerful to play, Mario Kart and Smash Bros. So
yeah, because my 6-year-old plays on the original Wii, so don't need brand new games. So
yeah, well, so then that being said, Nintendo also came out with a big mini direct bomb that was all sorts of Mario centric news. So let's touch on some of the subjects with the Mario. Now, did you guys get to watch it direct at all, or did you guys follow along with any of the news, or no?
Didn't. All I heard today was about Hyrule Warriors Breath of the Wild, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, I did not either. So lay it on me.
Okay, well, so there's a lot of news that came out of this mini direct that was just kind of dropped on us at early AM hours, even in Central Time Zone. So one of the big games that came out, announcements that came out, was it came out with a Mario 3D All-Stars, which includes Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. Now that's coming to Switch on September 18th.
Hold on now. I got a hot take about that. I don't know. I'll get heat for this, but they're charging full price for 3 games that they're barely touching up.
Well, so yeah, that's exactly what I was going to touch on. Is it's going to be and yeah. So like you mentioned, the price is going to be $60. Mario 64 is basically no touch up. It's not even going to be in the right resolution. Sunshine and Mario Galaxy are basically literally just ported onto the Switch and given you the ability to play it on your Switch. You'll be able to play most of your Mario games on your Switch. Not Mario Galaxy 2, which has been kind of a point of contention with some Mario fans. But like you had alluded to, Woods, this is not a remaster or remake by any stretch of the imagination. It's literally just a port. The biggest nugget of news to come out of this, though, is that it's only going to be available till March 31st, 2021.
Fuck that Disney Vault shit. Like, that's so dumb for video games. So dumb.
I've never heard of anything like that before. Where they're literally, I could see them stopping production on the physical game, maybe, but the fact that they're having it on their digital storefront and then pulling it at the end of their quarter Q1 or whatever fiscal quarter it is for them, screams to me of like as a money grab of just
they're
like,
gonna
hey,
scare everybody into buying it.
Well, I hit on this last week. They got all drunk on the mini stuff with the retro fever. And so now they're going to have some big thing once a year where it's going to be limited time, and this year that's it.
You might be right about that. God, and it's just like...
Because don't forget they got $100 to give you 50 NES games too.
And those games are all great Mario games, but goddamn does Nintendo just print money based upon nostalgia without actually
pretty much
doing something awesome for their fans, like really adding stuff to those games. Like, okay, sure, you don't want to up the graphics like PlayStation did with Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, whatever the fuck else, like doing true remakes, Final Fantasy VII, all that. But you could add more fucking levels or something, or or like a whole bunch of bonus levels if it doesn't fit into the story, or challenges of various
Mario
kinds.
64, you could have added 10 or 20 more stars. That wouldn't have been a big deal.
Right? Just add something.
Or don't charge $60, right? So
I don't know. I just think it's another example of, and to be fair, it was I read that it's already the second best-selling or pre-ordered game of this year for Nintendo, behind
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing, thank you. Which is just fucking nuts. Nuts.
If you're not going to put out a new game, just reprint your old games and charge full price for it, right?
And Dee's right. FOMO is real with this shit. FOMO is super fucking real with this shit. I don't know.
So speaking of FOMO, another nice little thing Nintendo is doing for everyone is, hey, we're going to add Super Mario Bros. 35, a 35th anniversary celebration of Mario, where we're making Mario into a battle royale. So this battle royale is going to be 35 players playing at once, where you're trying to last the longest in various levels. And as you get power-ups and you kill enemies and whatnot, you're going to send them to other people's screens, and it's going to start ping-ponging around, and everything is going to be super crazy battle royale. That's dropping, did I put it in here? I think it's this month sometime, which is interesting because the Nintendo Switch Online came out starting September. So they decided to drop this little free online game so everyone can re-up their yearly subscription conveniently in September when everyone's annual pass ends.
Right.
And that being said, this game also is going to be, this game is actually going to be unplayable post March 31st, 2021.
Right. Coincidentally, that'll be right before they drop the new fucking SKU of the Switch.
Yep.
Just because Nintendo's going to bend their fucking people over yet again. It's going to happen. That's when the new Switch will come out. Just watch.
And are they going to make you buy this game at that point? Because it's interesting they put all this work into making this battle royale and then just completely pulling it down. Now, if there's anyone other than Nintendo, I may say, yeah, they're going to put it out for sale and you can buy it. But, Nintendo might be just crazy enough to just be like, hey, we're just going to make this game, make it available for 6-7 months, and then we're just going to pull it down and you'll never see it again.
I don't know. I'd have to read into that. That'd be just ridiculous.
If you think into that streaming model, right, and you think of games like Destiny, right, and what we were talking about with the minis, where they're all hooked on seasonal shit and FOMO and all this other crap, what they could end up with here is something kind of like a Destiny, where you end up with, it's this season, so now we're bringing out the Mario 35 again. And now it's
Mario
fall,
36.
So, so now we're going to do this because it's fall or spring or whatever. And then you just have different events that keep people re-upping and buying new subscriptions.
Yeah.
I guess, but the subscription for Nintendo Online is what, $20 for the year or some bullshit?
Yeah.
It's ridiculously low. So yeah, it is. It's $20
$20 for a year, like $35 for a family, where you can get like
right.
I don't know, 3 to 5 people on there or something crazy.
So it's just odd. Like I guess I'd have to agree with you, CJ, that it just won't be free after the end of Q1 of next year. They'll just sell it regularly.
Unless you mentioned unless they make a Mario 36 or some other seasonal thing. It's just weird that they're pulling it down. Right. Some other little enhancements to Switch Online. They're adding a bunch of Mario Bros. Games, the Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, Super Mario Bros. 3, and things like that to the Switch Online, which is another little interest. And then one of the last ones I want to touch on before we get back to that Hyrule Warriors you mentioned earlier, Woodsy, is Mario Kart Home Circuit. This is interesting to anyone out there with kids more so than people our age. But what Mario Kart Home Circuit is, it's a Toys to Life game where you get a little RC cart with a camera on the top of it, and then you can map out areas around your living room or your den or something, and you can make your own Mario levels.
Right.
And then you take your Switch and you drive your cart through your house, so you see your house, but you also see the track, and then you see like the shells, and then you throw your shell at the other person or the computer characters, and then that stops the little RC car, and then you can kind of zip around and you can do all sorts of crazy stuff like that.
That actually sounds really dope as like a augmented reality idea. I was scoffing initially because I was thinking, what about all those Toys to Life bullshit that people purchased and now are completely useless because are they going to be able to use those for this? And my guess is no, but maybe. But my guess is no.
Oh, Toys to Life has had a hard time working on any front, but this is kind of a neat idea to do. Yeah. And it's someone who's 12 years old. It's not necessarily for us, but I think it's kind of a cool way to incorporate the augmented reality, and you can make your own Mario Kart levels in there. And you can also see it zipping around your living room. So that's kind of a neat idea. Now that MSRP is $99. So it's a little bit more pricey, but you get the little RC car with it. So, Woodsy, what you added this Hyrule Warriors Breath of the Wild? What is this?
So I guess there's a lot of hype surrounding a Zelda update today, and this is what they announced. So this is basically another Mausu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm probably not.
Muso, I think.
Muso, right. Zelda game. And it's a prequel to Breath of the Wild. It takes place 100 years before, I guess, the events of that game. But it's a Muso.
What is a Muso?
Oh, for those who are unfamiliar, that is effectively the genre that Dynasty Warriors popularized. and I think Koei actually makes all those games, and they just get reskinned with it. I think Gundam has had one. I think there might have been a Dragon Ball one. I don't want to speak out of turn there. Obviously, there was another Zelda one, and there's been a number of other properties to utilize. I think Koei to make a Musou version of their game, and I don't know. It's a lot of hype over nothing, if you ask me, because like the Musou genre is, I don't want to say dead, but it's
not doing well.
It's not of the most popular genres, at least in the States. I don't know how it does overseas. I guess they keep making Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors games, so maybe it's still doing all right. I don't know.
It's not doing well.
I was not too familiar with what a Musou was up until relatively recently. D, any interest in Musou Zelda?
It's not going well. Just kidding.
Well
no,
said.
Not for me.
Not for me either. So, but that kind of wraps up the Nintendo mini direct, if you will. So on to the next topic we have here is D. What announcement did Madden drop on the world today?
Ooh, Woodsy wanted to talk about this one. Colin Kaepernick is back in Madden 21. Super exciting. He's a free agent, and he's an 81. And
81 overall.
And I feel like that's the same 81 that I could be playing quarterback in Madden in 2021. Because him and I have played the same number of games in the last 4 years. And, roughly the same amount of
But he did have
exercise,
two really shitty seasons before that, though.
Yeah.
So don't discount those. And I'm not knocking on Colin Kaepernick because I disagree with his politics or anything like that, as I don't. I actually agree with his politics insofar as the kneeling argument and all that other stuff. Hate on me if you want about that. I really give a fuck less. But, I mean, come on, bro. Dude's not an 81 overall. You're making him the highest free agent in Madden. Like, let's be real. This is just like...
Yeah, I wish we'd had a little more time. Like, do we know how many quarterbacks that are starting on Madden 21 rosters?
There is a number. There was a number. Somebody did the math on that, and
they have they really pulled down their ranking. I haven't played Madden a whole lot lately, but they really pulled down their rankings on players. Where like a lot of players are kind of clustered in that mid 80s range.
Yeah, but they just do a lot of fan service for ratings. And I mean, I heard they gave Gronk. They gave Gronk like a 95 overall, and he's the second best tight end in the league, and he took a year off. Like, what? At least let him prove it for a couple of weeks first, then jack up his rating via updates. But let's not, with these guys, for real? Come on.
Well, do you guys think it's anything interesting? Because Madden came out and has had, the lowest rated Metacritic game or something, like something insanely low.
Oh, yeah, it's like 0.1. People were definitely bombing it with zeros.
Yeah.
Because all the people that
dropping the license was trending on
for
Twitter
the last 10 years
right.
have come out of the woodwork now to join in on the ratings bomb.
Right.
And do you guys think this is in any way tied in them trying to improve their ratings? And if anything, I think it's going to do the exact opposite.
Right. Yeah.
That's not going to help.
It might be a stupid wannabe PR ploy, but I don't think.
I think it's a wannabe PR play because I think we're all kind of in agreement with you, Woodsy. Like where the issue isn't the politics with Kaepernick and the kneeling and whatnot. It's just the rating of 81 overall, and to me, it is just a complete publicity PR stunt to try to find any way to improve your shitty reskinned game. And
10 years,
just
10 years.
Step on the rig.
Madden. Fuck you! Don't even send me a free digital code.
I
don't want one. Suck my fucking.
Reading those reviews where people were like, "Yeah, I haven't bought it in 5 years, but I'm just here to leave a 0 review," and I really kind of also want to log on there and leave a 0.
Sorry, EA. I don't mean all that. I apologize. You can send me a free digital code. I'll install it and make sure to fucking never play it.
Yeah,
don't worry.
Me either. It'll sit right next to the last 3 versions that I don't play. Because as always, I don't know if we've discussed on the show. I always do one play, and it's a fucking outside corner. And if the linebacker's not looking at you, and I think that I got him, so I do a tap to that corner, and the motherfucker jumps 20 feet in the air, and one hand's an interception that he ain't looking at, I turn the game off. And I've had to do it for like 10 years.
You should stop doing that play.
Well,
It's not working.
That's his test play. I don't disagree with this. I don't disagree with this.
Why is the play in there?
Right.
It just never works because the linebackers can just mystically go through the air and intercept shit backwards into the back of their hand.
Yep. Same shitty shit
Like it's
over and
supposed
over
to be
and over again.
realistic simulation.
So CJ,
And in this point, if I were 2K Sports, I would just make a fucking game that's as serious gets when you come to, like, there's no arcade mode, there's no jacking up the difficulty, it is what it is. And then when they get a lawsuit from EA, allege that EA is not making a simulation game, they are making an arcade game, and therefore are in breach of their own goddamn contract.
That's hilarious. I actually think that's hilarious. So anyway, CJ, I have to say I'm excited about your Trophy Hunter game because of the myriad of games that have befallen my ownership. Until Dawn is one of them, and I've actually played it. So let's fucking go.
Okay. So Until Dawn, you have played it. Woodsy D, have you played this game at all?
I have not.
Okay, so this was a PlayStation Plus game a handful of months ago. It came out probably about 2016 or so. It is an interesting take on basically a 90s teen horror movie. Mm-hmm. So you go to a cabin in the woods. You take a ski lift to get there. The ski lift breaks down. You're stranded there. You get the kind of the teen tropes of the hot girl, the bitchy girl.
Hold up. Not. I don't want to cut you off totally, but you're short selling this game a little bit because it has real live, awesome, good actors in it. Like Hayden Panettiere is live, and she looks photorealistic in the game. So does Rami Malek.
Yep.
So there's all the people in there are like real actors, and it's super good motion capture, especially on their facial detail and everything. And it's a real good looking fucking game.
Especially for when it was kind of that early-ish early-ish PlayStation era game. So real actors, and you get stranded at this cabin, and it just kind of ensues from there. You have like I mentioned, the bitchy girl, the jock, the nerd guy kind of situation, the kid who owns the cabin, and shit just goes awry, and it's kind of this kind of a choose your own adventure kind of situation, and we'll get into that and how that ties into the trophies here in just a minute. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but there is definitely trophies tied to decisions you make. So whenever you're watching a horror movie and just be like, fuck that, I would just drive away, or I would just torch a place, or I would just do this out of the other. Like some of these things are options, some of them are not, because you're trapped there, or there's reasons as to why you can't do things, but you're actually in control in the horror game, which is actually pretty cool.
It's a choose your own adventure novel brought to video game.
Brought to life, yeah. So you play, I think you can play as all characters in various points of the game, kind of centered around Hayden Panettiere, obviously, because she's kind of the main actress in the game. But you do play as all of them, and you have your own sections where there's like, this guy is dating this girl, this guy hates this girl, or vice versa, whatever the case is. So then you come to these situations where they really get you to hate these characters or like these characters, and you really want to save them. And there's a lot of QTEs in the game where they'll be playing a cutscene, and all of a sudden the button prompts will pop up, and if you miss one of the button prompts, boom, dead.
They're gone.
Or so you're walking around the woods and it's scary out, and there's some supernatural shit going on. Or, you're going through the house and doors are slamming and that sort of thing, and there's crazy shit going on. The way this ties into the trophies, though, is there's one trophy called They All Live, where all 8 characters make it out alive. You can play the game and such to do so. So that's hit on the QTE events. There's a trophy called This Is the End, where everyone dies. So you can play the game this way, where everyone's dying. And there's a couple other fun trophies called the Exorcism Emily, where one of the characters shoots Emily, a Fatal Grudge, where a guy shoots Ashley, and Instant Inferno, where one of the characters immediately sets the whole lodge on fire.
Oh wow, okay.
Just like a fuck this whole thing.
Yeah, so that's like one of the options where you just like set that bitch ablaze and you get a trophy for it, but then all your characters die or most of your characters die.
I wonder, like, I can see now. So this is an interesting. One of the really interesting things about this is like, I think it's almost it could be done like somebody should do like an examination of psychology based on the choices you make in this game, like, because I can see like, yeah, you got to figure out what decision that you need to make to burn the bitch to the ground, right? But who amongst us
right off the bat?
Oh, because the game itself takes like 3, maybe 4 hours to complete, like one time through, and then you keep going through it, so on and so forth. But like, who's making that decision off the bat? I mean,
I didn't really want to play this game anyway, so yeah. I know this is a horror story. Let's just burn the house down.
Right.
And there's a handful of collectibles in there that you can get, whether it's finding the totem hunters or the opening your eyes and finding some of the various clue lines and things. But it's actually a relatively easy platinum, one which I don't have, most because I didn't want to go back and recollect everything. And you can do some save scumming where you kill one of the characters and reload your save, so you want to drag them all to the end or kill them all. But it's one game, if you guys do own it, I'd recommend going playing it. Next month is October, so maybe if you want to play a little horror game, this would be a good seasonal game to play at that point. So
right. Well, and they got that studio. They have that Meads of Median or whatever.
Man of Medan, and they have this 8-game anthology, and they just got bought up by someone, I thought. But I think there's an 8-game anthology where they're going out and putting out these like 2 or 3 hour little bite-sized games.
But they're all sort of like this, which is
they are, cool. And they're all anthology. You mentioned like where one takes place in a boat or something, and I don't remember where they all take place, but there's like 3 or 4 of them out so far.
This is actually one of the few games I've gotten my wife to try and play, and she was into it. She just never continued. But the first time she was into it, she played it. She was into it and liked it just because it's like. You don't have to be good at video games to play this game. The reaction time, once you get that's going to happen, like, I didn't know about it the first time when I was first playing it with her, right? So I couldn't warn her, otherwise I would have. But once you figure that out, that sort of stuff's going to be there, so you have to kind of be on high alert. That's the only real skill you need to have for this game is to make sure you press A when it presents itself, or triangle or square or whatever. So it's a pretty casual game for people to just jump into, try out, and if you don't like the first storyline you got, like we were already talking about, you could just redo it in pretty short order and try out some different shit. So it's fun, man. It's
one of the evolutions that I believe that they did already at dawn was that in Man of Medan, you can play the game in multiplayer mode where you control different characters and you can even be on different screens and you can separately make decisions of your own volition. And the decisions that your friends or your partners who are on different screens make affect your game. So that'd be kind of cool in this game right here where it's a single player game only, but you do play as each character. But if like I play as like the bitchy girl and Woods plays as a jock and Dee plays as a hot chick, and we each like make our own little decisions and choose to kill each other or help each other live, would be kind of a cool spin on this game, and maybe that's more attainable, even better than the next games.
Dee wouldn't even have to play as the hot chick. He is a hot chick. Dee, show me your titties.
Yeah, no, he has that chest hair. That's why I thought he'd be good for the hot chick. So, that's all for trophy time. So what is coming off of your pile of shame?
Oh, well, technically nothing. Resident Evil 7 remains. But I might be punting on that because I just can't. This was one thing after the other with, I was sick last week and I wanted to try to get into it and all that sort of shit. So it just was not happening. But we have a new game that has been voted on by the good folks that follow us. And the next game I will be playing from my pile of shame, physical disc edition. This time we had the choices were Batman Arkham Asylum, Nier Automata. What were the other ones? I was trying to look at the thing and I couldn't find it. In any regard, Nier Automata won with like 45% of the vote and 48%. So yes. I will be playing that game. CJ, I know you know that game well.
Yes.
You got any pro tips for me before I
that is one of my favorite games from this generation. It caught me completely off guard. The one thing I'll say with Nier is that and you hear this sometimes when people talk about games, but get through the first section of the game. The first section of the game, you kind of start off in a ship, and you kind of do this like shooter kind of thing where you're kind of like floating around shooting shit in a ship, and that is the only time you play as a ship. This game has 26 different endings. Now it seems excessive. There's one ending for each letter of the alphabet, ending A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Some endings you get from just like screwing something up, and it's like, hey, such and such happened. That happened. The game is done. I don't want to get into the spoilers of what this, that, and the other are if you haven't played. But you can basically just get an immediate end if you do something stupid. Like, I don't even want to just.
That's fine.
But you can get an immediate end. Now, when you get an immediate ends of all but 5 endings, you basically just reboot because most of the letters, like whatever, 21 endings are just these little silly endings. The 5 endings are awesome, and they all tie together. And they
are all of the little abbreviated endings all mistake driven, aka you can't make.
I don't remember exactly. I mean, it's been a while since I played all the endings. I can only think of a handful off the top of my head, but it's just like if you walk off the screen one way, it will go to an ending or like why you and make a joke of like, why are you doing this? This is dumb. Game's done, basically. But in much more clever terms.
The other 2 games that it beat out, other than Batman Arkham Asylum, were Death Stranding and Middle Earth: Shadow of Mordor. Death Stranding came in second place, which I guess I wasn't surprised by. I
was surprised Nier won, to be honest with you. I voted for Nier.
I'm shocked.
My ballot. I thought I was going to be the only one that voted for Nier, to be honest with you. I was very pleased when it won, though.
Yeah, no. I know it's like it's not even like a cult. Not even cult classic as you were. There's a lot of people who just love that game, and I think it got a lot of great publicity when it came out, and never really.
So the different endings, like, so when you hear a game says different endings, you do replay through portions of the game, but you play through it from different perspectives. So when I say there's 5 main endings, you do play it from different perspectives. So don't get bogged down. Like, I'm going to replay the game, and then this is going to unlock or that's going to unlock. Right. There is slight replays.
Don't worry, CJ. It's on my pile of shame. I'll be playing through it for one of the full endings and one of the full endings.
If I could ask you to at least play through three of the endings because man, the third ending you get really tie things together, and when you figure out what's really happening in the game, I drop my controller.
How long would that take though? Because I gotta get to the next game in the pile. I gotta get back to the pile.
I'll have to dig into how long to beat, but it's not terribly long, man. Like once the first ending's the longest one, and the other ones are more manageable. But man, when you hit that turn and figure out what's really happening, my jaw dropped. And I was like, holy shit, man.
I want you, as our trophy hunter here, to go out and you gotta find me that trail and dig up those numbers for me, and then I'll maybe commit to doing your
I can do that. I did platinum that. That's on my platinum pile, so makes me very happy that you picked that game. Well, I think that concludes our 8th episode of the Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast. Thanks to you, the listener, for putting up with our bad jokes and our rare takes from everything uncut in the video game sphere. We hope you join us each and every week for more Raw Cuts Gaming Podcast. If you'd like to be a part of the conversation, you know how to reach us or give us hate. Hate. We definitely encourage you to reach out to our Twitter handle at Raw Cuts Gaming. If you want to watch us, like we mentioned earlier in the show, you can watch us on the YouTube Raw Cuts Gaming channel. If you don't want to do the Twitter or the YouTube, you can reach us at our email account, rawcutsgaming@gmail.com. Or we're just currently being spammed by all that
porn spam
requests from last week. D, if people want to get out to hold of you, where's the best place to find you?
I am on the Twitters at NakedGamer84, and I'm on Twitchers at Noob with the zeros _NakedGamer. Woods.
And Woodsy, where can people find you, man?
You can find me at Woods_or_Wads with a Z on Twitter and on Twitch. I predominantly Twitch from the Raw Cuts Gaming Twitch account.
Thanks for bumping that, and hopefully,
except for when I fuck up trying to do my second.
Make sure you don't fuck up your near streams, because I definitely want to watch that, man.
Right.
I'll tune into
all
that.
three of them. All three of them.
3 endings, right?
Yeah, all 3 endings, not just all 3 streams.
Yeah, and if you want to get a hold of me, the best place to find your resident trophy hunting host, you can find me on Twitter at CJ Rindall. So thanks again, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, Ryan.
See you, Mom.
Bye.